And it will mark it at 7:30 p.m. We'll continue on with the agenda, and the next item on the agenda happens to be the Pledge of Allegiance. So if everyone will please stand. Okay, so now that the Pledge of Allegiance has concluded, I want to change the agenda around so that we can make it more accessible for public comments, especially after the presentation. So we're going to jump to superintendent comments. Dr. Forte?
Okay, thank you. We have very minimal comments. We have our foundation golf outing at the Knoll Country Club on the 16th of October. And just an update on when I'm going to be speaking around the town. We have tonight, then we have Wednesday at the Senior Citizen Center, Wednesday, October 15th, 10:30 a.m. Then we have right in this room again at 1 p.m., also on Wednesday, October 15th. And then for people who need a weekend meeting, we have this Saturday coming up, October 18th at 10 a.m. This meeting's being recorded and conducted virtually as well. And this will be the only meeting that's recorded and conducted virtually. So this will be posted on the website and sent out in the Friday folder as well. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Forte. Assistant Superintendent comments. Dr. Cullis.
We have a few events coming up. The Screenagers Project, which is an extension of our Anxious Generation book club last year. The first showing of the movie will be at Valley View, 7 o'clock on Wednesday, October 15th. It's probably going to be in the library now. Originally, we said the gym, but based on numbers, we're going to move that to the library. But that's on Wednesday. And then the Growing Up in the Digital Age elementary version will be shown at Lakeview on November 11th, again at 7 o'clock. So those two are scheduled. Parent conferences are October 29th and 30th. Signups open on Genesis, the parent portal, on Wednesday. This concludes the Assistant Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Cullis. And finally, the Business Administrator comments. Mrs. Gorowski.
One comment, the 24-25 school year audit has been finalized with no audit recommendations, and the presentation will be held in this room, November 17 board meeting. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mrs. Gorowski. So now we're going to backtrack on the agenda to special presentations. Today we have two presentations, which will be the 2024-2025 HIB self-grading. And then we'll also have the public presentation regarding the November 4th Board of Education funding question for the amount of $700,250. In future board meetings on October 27th, Dr. Cullis will be presenting the New Jersey SLA scores for the 24-25 school year, as well as the Green Sustainable Program leaders will be presenting will present on achieving the Bronze Award. And then on November 17th, as Ms. Gorowski mentioned, will be the school audit presentation for 24-25 school year. So I'll hand it over to Dr. Forte. Dr. Forte, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'll start with our self-grading for 2024-25 school year. The harassment, intimidation, self-evaluation, it's a thing that's legal from the state. Every year we have to look at our programs and assign a value to them. Then we submit it to the state, and then the state sends us back our final score in the spring. So this is due at the end of the month. So our three schools, Valley View Middle School, self-graded at 78 out of 78. Riverview self-graded at 76 out of 78. And Lakeview School self-graded at 77 out of 78. These are the graded elements. Our HIB programs, our HIB training on the Board of Education HIB policies, our HIB staff training, curriculum and instruction on HIB, HIB personnel, school level HIB reporting, HIB investigation procedures, and HIB reporting. And that is all for that self-grading. Now we'll move on to the presentation for tonight on the school vote on November 4th, my 58th birthday. Hopefully it'll bring us good luck. It is a vote to, I'm going to hook this on. Okay, so we're looking for funding to support our students and community, and it's to renovate the second floor of the annex, and I'll get to all the details in a minute. Back in 2023, we created a strategic plan with 120 stakeholders.
Dr. Forte, I'm sorry to interrupt you. The presentation is now online. Sorry for that.
So that in 2023, we created a 5-year strategic plan, and the big part of it dealt with the people that were there, the 120 stakeholders. This was advertised to the entire public through all different means, including the newspapers. And we had a good representation of different groups. And one of the things, two of the really big things that came out of it is, number one, make sure you're ready for the additional students that come because of the construction that's going on and just the new, the turnover of homes as well. And it also was to keep our optimal class sizes. A little history. So from 2014 to 2025, the district has completed facility, security, and technology projects over $19 million. That was all funded with local reserves, energy savings, and grants. No referendum debt. So the district went about something called Energy Savings Improvement Plan. What that does is it allows us to leverage the cost savings of your utilities to complete some projects. This was mostly in the HVAC area, and that really helped us when it came back to returning from COVID, when we were one of only about 40 districts statewide that were able to come back for every student every day. In 2019, the Denville Board of Education becomes debt-free. Approximately 30% of the New Jersey school districts have no debt. So we're in that group of 30%. In 2019, the district leased the former St. Mary's Prep to be used as an annex to Riverview to prepare for the expected additional students. No additional funds were requested. We conducted a study in 2023 comparing what would it be like if we built a building compared to renting. The way we worked it was we picked $20 million. Now, $20 million is not enough to build a building the size of Riverview Annex, but we're just using those numbers. So $20 million for 20 years is $30 million after interest. And that same amount of rent in 20 years is $6.6 million. So it's approximately $24 million less to rent than it is to own. In May of 2025, we received our demographic study by Dr. Grip, who is a leading demographer in New Jersey. He did show that in the past 10 years, we did increase by 100 students. So from 2015 to 2025, we've increased by 100, but it also shows about another 250 expected by 2030. The separate proposal is for the construction costs necessary to renovate the second floor of the annex. Currently, we don't have the second floor. It's there, but we don't use it, so we don't pay rent for it. It would be to improve the 4 existing classrooms. There's also a small group instruction room up there. The common areas, bathrooms, storage areas for the employment of additional certificated staff and/or non-certificated staff, and the continued maintenance of the Riverview Annex at a cost of $700,250. Voter approval of this proposal will represent a permanent increase to the tax levy of 1.83%. So how will the passage of this funding question help Denville? It will fund the renovations needed to use the second floor. Right now, the second floor is there and it's fine. It needs to be updated. Electrical work, lighting, flooring, paint, probably some lockers, furniture, things like that. It will also help with the additional rent and other expenses, meaning the utilities. It will also help fund to bring back some or all the positions cut from the 25-26 budget. So this year, our district had to make cuts of 5 different personnel. So we reduced the size of our staff by 5, which drove up class sizes. And this question will help us bring those back, as well as help to fund the additional staff needed for the second floor at the Riverview Annex. In the following years, the funds will help hire district additional staff and accommodate the additional students to keep the class sizes down. So what is the impact to the taxpayer? This has an impact of about $79 to the average home in Denville. Important information about voting. Registration for voting must take place by October 14th. The vote is November 4th. Early voting is October 25 through November 2. There's vote by mail, drop boxes, or in person. The vote for the lucky thing is in Denville, our town hall is used for early voting. So from October 25th to November 2nd, you can vote right in town hall. And that's the presentation for now. If I would be happy to answer questions from the public or the board, anyone who might have something to ask.
Thank you, Dr. Forte. Before I open it up to the public, I'd like to first open it up to the board. So board members, if you have any questions, feel free to, the floor is yours.
It was a great presentation. And the thing that's etched in my mind is the $19 million we've done to upgrades in our school system without a referendum. And that's pretty much unheard of when I first joined the board. Referendum was like the solution to funding window replacements and bathroom upgrades and things like that. So a job well done by our administration over the years.
Thank you, Mr. Cass.
Dr. Forte, I think one of the questions we've gotten as, this information has become public is what happens if voted no? What is option B, right? I think we've gotten this question before. So I just wonder if you can maybe talk a little bit about what the other options are, or what would happen if the vote came back as a no.
So the law is pretty clear. If this gets voted down, you can't do the job at all. Like, you have to wait at least 1 year. And if you were able to find the money some other way or go out to another question, you could do that. I guess some other solutions could be building something somewhere. We do own property on Nicole Drive, but I feel like right now we're going full steam ahead with this vote on November 4th. And I guess we would have to regroup and figure out plan B if it's not successful.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Thank you, Dr. Forte. Mr. Capello?
Yeah, no, thank you. I think the presentation is excellent. I think it really clarifies some things, hopefully for the public. Actually, that's one thing I'd like, maybe if you wouldn't mind, we know this really, in depth, but for the public, could you just talk a little bit about the last few years, some of the constraints we've had in terms of salaries going up, and especially the healthcare benefits, what those increases have been like and how they've stretched our budget?
Around the state and the country, actually, healthcare costs have been a big concern just for a lot of different government organizations and private. We are dealing with a very large increase. If you're watching or paying attention to the news at all about New Jersey Public Employees Health Fund, the state is coming up with a 31% increase starting January 1st, which is really unmanageable for us because we're trying to live within a 2% cap, and a large portion of our budget being increased at 35%, it'd be hard to manage that. We have done a lot to try to figure out how to deal with that, and a lot of it has to do with shopping around, looking for another vendor, and we're not sure where we're at with that. And we have gone in and out of the state health benefits. Since I've been here, when I first got here, we were private. In the first year, we went to the state, then we stayed in the state for a while. Then we got out of the state, went private, and went back in the state. Now we're looking to possibly go in private again. This is not common to Denville. This has been all around the state, and it's pretty much taking up all of the time at our roundtables, because a 31% increase is really not manageable, considering we budgeted for around a 15% increase. So it's very tough. We did have to cut some teaching positions last year, a custodial position and technology position. And all those do, have consequences. So we've been fortunate to have manageable and small class sizes. And that's what this vote will do, help keep it down to the areas that we like. Our board has guidelines in a policy. They're not required, they're not mandated, but there's guidelines to keep the class sizes at 26 or below for most elementary. What is it, 22 for the primary, 23 for primary, 26 for the upper elementary, and then 29 for the middle school.
Thank you, Dr. Forte. Thank you, Mr. Capello. I'll conclude the board questions with one final question. I think you mentioned this in a prior meeting, but couldn't the developments actually cover the cost of this, even though you've presented on a slide the amount that it would impact the taxpayer? Is there a scenario where the new developments would potentially help lower that?
So when we did this, we had to pick a point in time. At that point in time, the buildings that were online and paying taxes were included in what we said, our estimate. We did get information from New Jersey school boards, as well as our own finance department in the township, confirming what I felt was pretty much common sense, right? Was that the more of these homes that come online, even though it does bring students, it also reduces the tax burden on everybody else, because it increases the value of the properties in the town. So to answer your question, again, we picked the time, and that's what it is, but we feel like there's a strong possibility that when those homes come online, it will reduce the tax burden to everyone else.
Thank you, Dr. Forte, and thank you for the amount of work that you put into this. I do think that myself and the rest of the board recognize all the hours that you have been putting in, you and the rest of the administration, so thank you for all the work. We'll now proceed with the next item on the agenda, which happens to be the public portion, which allows the public to then ask questions about the presentation and anything else that may appear in the agenda or germane to the district. So I'll lay some ground rules. All questions, if you can have them directed to myself or Dr. Forte, and Dr. Forte and I will then decide if any other board member wishes to address the question. I'll make that decision then. When you do come up to the microphone, please state your name and address. If you are online, we request that you raise your hand to state that you wish to make a question or comment, and then the person at the controls will then or we will acknowledge you through the microphone, and then you would then have to unmute yourself. And when you unmute yourself, you would then state your name and address as well. You would follow the same protocols as if you were here in person. So we will now open it up for public questions at 7:49 p.m.
I'm Charles Body, 73 Mount Pleasant Turnpike. And I just found out about this. I was very interested in it. I'm wondering right now, what is the statistics of your classroom density versus your guidelines?
I'm sorry, could you?
Well, you just went over the guidelines and the number of students in the various classes that you want it to have the maximum of. Where do you stand with that right now?
In all but one grade, we're below what we're asking. We're below what we were talking about, the guidelines. In one grade, in one school, we're above it or at it.
Right now, we have, I think there's there's at least 3 new developments I'm aware of. Franklin Avenue, Franklin Road, and Route 10. And they're building out quite quickly. Have you received a lot of students from these new developments, and how does that balance out with the needs for the classrooms?
I wouldn't say we've received a lot yet, but we have received some from all of them. All of the ones that are online. There's another one coming online down on Route 53. That's not open yet. But all the ones that you see are either partially built out or completely built out, we have students. It's not a real high number yet. That's where the demographer comes in, and that's where he's predicting the 250 additional students over the next 5 years.
Dr. Forte, can you those 250 students, explain the developments that were used to come up with that, because I think that's important too.
Okay, so the developments that were used are all the ones that are online. So it would be the one next to Morris Knowles, the Toll Brothers one. It would be the one next to where Alexis Diner was. It would be the one on Route 10, that one. It would not include the one next to where, like on Route 53, that would not be included. It also wouldn't include the other 2 that I'm aware of that are proposed that have not been given permission to go ahead yet. So only the ones that are actually built or are being built are included.
Okay, the one on Route 53 is building out quite quickly at this point, and I would expect it won't be too much longer before they'll be renting at least part of it. So how do you take care of that? How do you into your figures?
So there's 60 units in there, and they're rentals. We don't expect too many, according to the demographer. We're looking at less than 10 students from that unit, from that entire property. So that's not really high up on the concern. Also, the where it is actually a positive thing for us, because those kids can go to Riverview, and that's the reason why we're trying to expand Riverview, to make room for the developments that have to go to Lakeview because they're on the other side of town, closer to where you live.
And so the way the demographer, sorry, it's okay if I speak. The demographer looks at each development and looks at whether it's a rental, whether it's going to be sold, whether they're market rate or affordable, how many bedrooms they have, and he has a whole formula to figure out what he would predict would come out of those buildings. So that's part of the demography study. The challenge is that there's so many new developments, and they really, until they pull a permit, we don't actually know. We can guess based upon rezoning and things we hear at the meetings what they might be, but it's hard. Every time we go back to the demographer, it's more money for him to run a new report. So sometimes we pick and choose, okay, let us know what we think is going to come out of here, but some of them tweak a little bit as they kind of move forward and the sizes change or the bedroom mixes change. But it's a pretty sophisticated analysis to determine what he thinks is going to come out of each of these developments as his best guess. And he's been fairly accurate thus far, although we've still got a lot to learn as we move forward with these developments, because they're state numbers, so they could be slightly different for Denville than they are in other districts or other areas in the state.
With respect to St. Mary's, I thought I saw somewhere that you had to refurbish the roof. Is that correct?
In our lease, we have a 65-35 split. They pay 65%, we pay 35%. Over the summer, we completed it's a partial roof replacement, but it's probably about 75-80% of the roof has been completed. And it's already done this summer.
Yeah, and just to further expand upon that, as a result, the lease was reduced over 3 years to deduct our portion, right? It's okay. You're welcome to return if once you have that question. I mean, do you have another question now? Thank you. If you could just write your name and address on that form as well. So do we have any individuals who are online that wish to ask a question?
Not yet.
Mr. Body, if you put your email address on there too, I'll email you that study we were just talking about.
No one yet. If could,
The percentage that you're asking for is not very large, but it is forever. What do you look forward to in the future? Do you expect that's going to go up? Is there some day in the future you're not going to require this at all and you'll get rid of this proposal? How is your planning with the finances in that manner?
Okay. So this has been like, to deal with this goes back a few years. We've been dealing with it actually since I've been superintendent. Over the years, we've completed a bunch of projects. We wanted to get the kids out of the trailers. That was a big deal. We wanted to get rid of all substandard space. These are all like steps. Then the next step was taking over the annex. The next step we did this summer, we added 2 classroom bathrooms at Riverview that allow us to have more kindergarten classes because the kindergartens need a bathroom. This phase is going to be the next phase that we feel very strong will handle us till 2030. We may need to down the road do something at Valley View, but we feel very strongly, according with our demographer and our internal staff, that this plan that we're coming up with right now will help us with the K-5 population. Do we think that we're going to need another question? That's a hard one because if I can answer you in the next 5 years, I'd say no. After that, I really wouldn't be able to answer that because we don't have the information of what's going to happen after that. We might need to do something at Valley View that might create like a referendum to build something, but that would be something down the road. And that would be because there's not room up there. We don't want to put kids back in trailers. The whole town doesn't want to do it. The board doesn't want to do it. And we don't want anything unsafe or anything what's called substandard in Denville. So, so I feel very strongly that this plan will help us with our K-5 population, and we shouldn't need to do anything larger than that.
We also don't want to look at building an entire building when we don't know if we would have enough students to fill it, because it's a very expensive endeavor, and we aren't positive how many students. We know some are coming, but we don't know if it's enough to fill a building.
Correct. And that vacant piece of land up in Union Hill has been there for a long time. So thank you for the opportunity to ask the questions. Thank you for the presentation, and I hope you have success.
Thank you
you.
for the questions. Yeah. Is there anyone else from the public that wishes to ask questions or make comments? And if there is no one else online, we'll go ahead and close public comments at 7:58 p.m. Thank you for attending. If you wish to continue on and stay with us for the rest of the agenda, you're more than welcome to. However, if you wish to excuse yourself, we have no objections. So
Thank you.
thank you for being here. Okay, Mrs. Adelis, can you walk us through old business, no action to be taken?
Sure. At the next meeting, myself or someone else will go through the following resolutions: the reports for September 2025, Treasurer of School Monies and Board Secretary reports, the education reports for September 2025, and the minutes for the September 8th and September 22nd meetings.
Could I get a second? Oh, forgive me, no action to be taken. Thank you. All right, the next section has to be new business, happens to be action to be taken. So, Mr. Capello, if you can take us through personnel.
I would be happy to. If there are no objections under new business personnel, I would like to move items 1 through 6 as a block. 1 includes our usual list of new hires, resignations, additional pay, retirements, and salary and adjustments. Number 2 is we're rescinding a resolution from 9/22/25 for a personnel item. Number 3 is we're approving the revised list of staff for the enrichment programs at Lakeview and Riverview schools for the 25-26 school years. Number 4, we are approving an employee for leave of absence under FMLA. Number 5 is we're approving the revised substitute list for 25-26 school year. And finally, number 6, we are approving the updated master staff list for the 25-26 school year.
I'll second.
Thank you very much. Questions or comments? Before we proceed, I just want to let the folks online, if you did wind up having a question that you didn't get a chance to ask, we will have a second public comment section towards the end of the meeting. So seeing that there's no questions on this part of the agenda, roll call, please.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Dellis,
Yes.
Ms. Astorino,
Yes.
Mr. Cass,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Capello,
Yes.
Mr. Kim.
Yes. Under instruction and program, Dr. Moore, if you can walk us through that, please.
Yes, I'd like to move for approval of the following resolutions under instruction and program. Under number 1, we have the AAP New Jersey School Health Conference. Item number 2 is a donation of $10,000 from the Denville Township Social Services to help defray the cost of providing free lunch to students. Item number 3 is to approve the attached list of field trips for 25-26.
I'll second.
Thank you. Questions or comments? I want to thank the Denville Township Social Services for the donation. That is a very large sum, so it is greatly appreciated, and thank you. Roll call, please.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Dellis,
Yes.
Ms. Astorino,
Yes.
Mr. Cass,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Capello,
Yes.
Mr. Kim.
Yes. There are no actions under governance, so we'll proceed with finance. Mr. Anderson, if you will.
Sure. If there are no objections under D, finance, I'd like to move items number 1, 2, and 3 as a block. This includes a agreement with Atlantic Health Systems Behavioral Health Assessment Center to provide back-to-school clearance evaluations for the 2025-2026 school year at a cost of $250 per evaluation. Item number 2 is for the board to approve the agreement with Behavior Therapy Associates to provide behavioral parent training for a student up to 8 training sessions at $195 per session. And then finally, item number 3 is for the board to approve the agreement with Kid Therapy LLC to provide feeding therapy evaluation for a particular student. Total cost not to exceed $535.
I'll second.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Could you explain a little bit about the Behavior Therapy Associates training? Is that one-on-one training or is that a classroom?
That's for a student's parents. So it's at their house.
Okay, great. Thank you. Seeing no other questions, roll call, please.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Dellis,
Yes.
Ms. Astorino,
Yes.
Mr. Cass,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Capello,
Yes.
Mr. Kim.
Yes. Mr. Cass, can you walk us through operations, please?
Be glad to. Item 1.1 under transportation, I'm asking for the board to approve Wendy Grant to be trained as a school bus driver by the Denville Board of Education, Transportation Department. Item 1.2 is for the board to retroactively approve the following school bus emergency evaluation drill reports. Lakeview, we had one on September 19th at 9 a.m. Riverview School was on September 18th, 9 a.m. At Valley View, September 24th and the 25th at 9:15 a.m. in the Valley View parking lot. Under Building and Grounds, I'm asking the board to approve the Denville Township Emergency Services to use the structures on the Board of Education property at 46 Nicole Drive for training. The township will follow all state mandated training protocols, including public notification. Training is to be completed prior to November 9th, 2025. Item 2.2 is for the board to approve the attached lease agreement addendum with St. Mary's Church.
I'll second.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Ms. Sedalis,
Yes.
Ms. Astorino,
Yes.
Mr. Cass,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Capello,
Yes.
Mr. Kim.
Yes. Okay, the next section on the agenda is new business, no action to be taken. I encourage any board members to share any committee items that they wish to share as well. So, Mr. Capello, personnel, if you will.
Absolutely. At the next meeting, I or someone else will be moving us through personnel items. Number one currently includes one retirement sick day payout. Number two includes employing an employee for an unpaid extended leave of absence. Number three is approving reimbursements of paid mentor fees to staff members listed below. Number four is approving Barb Galab for staff development workshops to provide mandated dyslexia training. Number five is to approve the Danielson Group to provide evaluation training to Morris Catholic High School staff at a cost of $600 to be paid by Title II funds. And number six is the board approves unpaid leave to a staff member for New Jersey FLA.
Any questions or comments?
I just have one. I just wanted to make one thing clear. Number five, if the public is wondering why there is training for Morris Catholic High School staff, my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe those Title II funds, we act as a pass-through for those too, because the government can't necessarily give that money directly. So it comes through us.
That is correct. This is a grant, federal grant monies that it comes through the Denville Township because we are the holder and the Catholic school is in our town. So they pass through the funds through the Denville Public Schools.
Thank you.
Thank you for pointing that out, Mr. Capello. Seeing no other questions or comments, we'll proceed with I&P. Dr. Moore, if you will.
Yes, either myself or someone else will move for approval of the following resolutions under instruction and program. There are no workshops listed under number one. Under number two would be to approve the attached list of field trips.
Thank you. If there are no questions or comments, we'll proceed with governance. I'll go ahead with this one. Under policy, we will be going through a number of policy for second reading and adoption. That is included in the agenda there. And for first reading and adoption are revisions to the Code of Conduct, the use of electronic and recording devices, and student use of privately owned technology. I wish to also make an update with regards to our governance committee. We hope for the next meeting to give the board members updates on board goals. So all the board goals that we had set by the end of last year will provide an update on what we have been able to, or a status update with regards to our board goals. So I think I will mention one. I am part of the Morris County Legislative Advocacy Committee, and that committee is basically to reach out to local legislators and discuss key issues. And the three key issues that the board or the committee has decided to address are the HIB law, HIB law, where a lot of districts felt that it was outdated and there was a number of issues. So any conversations that we have had as a board, it appears that a lot of the other districts are having similar conversations, which was very enlightening. The second topic that we are looking to have talking points with regards to legislatures is school funding. So, the issues with healthcare and the healthcare costs and some of the gaps that some of the districts are experiencing. And finally, challenges and opportunities for improvement for special education. So those will be the three key issues that this committee will be looking to address with local politicians. Okay, the next section, finance, Mr. Anderson, if you will.
Sure. At the next meeting under finance, there'll be at least 3 items to move. So far on the agenda is typically our typical bills list, which will be item number 1. Item number 2 is for the board to approve a donation to Lakeview and Riverview from the dental office of Dr. Nadi Trejo in alignment with Orthodontic Health Month. Donations are going to be specifically goodie bags with a toothbrush and a pencil to bring awareness to orthodontic health. Office is working with the school nurses on the project, so appreciate that. That's great. And the third item would be for the Board of Education to approve the attached 26-27 budget calendar. In addition, I'll mention a few items from the committee meeting. I'm going to just call out a few bigger items, or really one that I think I want to kind of hit on, which is the projected gap from the new health insurance rates taking effect, the projected health benefits from July 2025 to June 2026. That is, there is a shortfall of approximately $627,000. However, there is a plan to cover all of that based upon Damaris's work in determining, and in the minutes of the committee meeting, you can see specifically where those gaps are going to be filled. Obviously, it's a huge ask and lift for Mrs. Gorowski and the entire finance team to work through and make sure, but we're cutting in certain places to make sure that we can make sure we close that gap or shortfall. So appreciate Mrs. Gorowski and the finance team ensuring that we are able to cover that. But obviously that's been a challenge for us.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. I echo your thanks. So, okay, Mr. Cass, operations, if you will.
At the next meeting, I'll be asking the board to approve item number 2 on this agenda, buildings and grounds, to approve the attached uniform memorandum of agreement with the Denville Police Department for the 2025-26 school year, and the attached memorandum of agreement with the Denville Police Department for the sharing of live stream video for the 25-26 school year. As of today, there is nothing to move on transportation. Could be next meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Cass. Okay, for the good of the cause, committee reports, correspondence, discussion items such as board meeting highlights, board member scheduling for school public events, and classroom space considerations, and anything else germane to the district.
I have the highlights is the presentation on the vote for November 4th, the $10,000 donation, and just a reminder, because this goes out Friday, that the last public session info session is October 18th, Saturday at 10 a.m. at Lakeview Media Center. And to remind everybody, we have Wednesday at 10 a.m. and we have Wednesday also at 1:30. And then we have Thursday night at the foundation, and then Saturday at Lakeview, 10 a.m.
Yeah, I should be able to attend the Saturday 10 a.m. one. Any other board members? Yeah, please.
Yeah, no, I have something actually. I think I forwarded it to everyone. I know I forwarded it, I think, to Mike and James. If you may have seen in the news, Montclair has gotten themselves into a huge hole. Basically, it seems like a whole bunch of money went missing, and now they are faced with budget questions of either raising a special, like a request for funds to fill the hole, or they're going to take a loan from the state, which comes with a state monitor. It's a disaster. It's a mess. I understand the superintendent and the board, the business administrator are gone. Seems like things went very badly. The auditor didn't do their job. I raised these questions with Mike and James and Damaris. Damaris gave me and gave all of us a very clear understanding of what we do now, which I think is, very bulletproof. My only question is all of this specified in our policies? In other words, for the future, are these things that maybe we should put into policies. One good example, I think, which is a great way of doing business, is that the auditors are rotated each year. There's different people that come to the district. I think that's a tremendous control. But is that something we should put in board policy? So I think there are a few things like that, not for today, but more for the future. So that was my question. Is this something, and I see that we have policies that we're looking at for internal controls and accounting. So this feels like it may be a time to look at some of that. And again, I only know enough about this to be dangerous. I'm sure we are doing everything we can now for something like that never to happen. I'm more worried about what could happen down the road.
Thank you, Mr. Cabello. I think that's a fabulous idea. Is that something that maybe could be discussed during Finance Committee?
Yes, absolutely. Mrs. Growski, I think you had put those in, because so maybe we can add that to the agenda for the next Finance Committee meeting. We could talk about which ones may be options to put into policy, or if we already have them. So I'll start taking a look through, but please, any recommendations on what the administration thinks would be reasonable or acceptable would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other board members?
I just wanted to add that I know Dr. Fortes mentioned it a few times, but from the board, I did want to mention the Denville Education Foundation has their golf outing and tricky tray this Thursday, October 16th. It's at Knoll West Country Club. The golf is a 12:30 p.m. shotgun start, but the reception is at 6 p.m. That's a tricky tray dinner, always a great event. I would encourage any board members that are available to please sign up. I will send out the link. I don't know when their cutoff is for signing up for the dinner, but it's probably either today or tomorrow. So if you have any questions, you can certainly shoot me a text or an email, but I'll send out the link for purchasing tickets if you're interested. It's always a great night. They're a very, very supportive organization, and a lot of folks from the community come out to support the schools. So it's always great when we have board members there.
I'm sorry, Mike, what was the date again?
It's this Thursday. 6 p.m. is the dinner, and it's at Knoll West Country Club in Parsippany.
Thank you, Mike. If there are no other comments from the board members, we'll go ahead and open it up for the second public comment section at 8:17 p.m. Just as a reminder, if you wish to make a comment, please raise your hand and you will be called on, in which case you can unmute yourself and please state your name and address for the record. All right, seeing no one online and no one here in person, we'll go ahead and close it at 8:15 p.m. There will be a need for a second executive session. However, after the executive session, we will no longer be voting on anything important, and as a result, or we won't be voting at all, and as a result, we'll adjourn immediately after the executive session. So, Mrs. Astorino, can
You might be voting on something if the conversation goes that way.
Okay, so in which case then we will open it back up for it to be recorded. Mrs. Astorino, can you please take us into executive session, please?
Absolutely. I move to convene an executive session in accordance with the Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act. The purpose of this closed session will be to discuss negotiations, legal, security, and personnel issues. Minutes of this session will be made available to the public when the need for confidentiality no longer exists.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? We are now in executive at 8:19 p.m. and we will come back out of executive when our meeting is concluded.